do this chant together. And it's not by the page, I misled you there. It's number 60, Rise in Freedom. Number 60. Do you need a chant book? Rise, O my soul, in freedom. Should be number 60. Yeah, right there. Okay. Rise in my soul and my freedom. Okay, so then we have two different books here. The one I was, so look under R for Rise. It's number 66 in this book, or page 23. Okay, the book I have is different. Okay, very easy words, so we'll have two chants for meditation. So you can prepare your body for meditation now as we sing this, sitting up straight.
Rise, oh my soul in freedom. into meditation for 5 minutes.
So in word chant, you can sing aloud or also sing mentally. Long I've called you my Lord, long I've called you. Many years I have longed for your sight, bathed the darkness with tears of devotion, offered candles in prayer to your light. How much longer, friend, must I cry your name? I am yours, ever yours. Will you come? Long I've called you, my Lord, long I've called you. Many years I have longed for your sight, bathe the darkness with tears of devotion, offered candles in prayer to your light. How much longer, friend, must I cry your name? I am yours, ever yours. Will you come? Will you come? Long I've called you, my Lord, long I've called you. Many years I have longed for your sight, bathe the darkness with tears of devotion, offered candles in prayer to your light. How much longer, friend, must I cry your name? I am yours, ever yours. Will you come? Will you come? Will you
While remaining in a meditative state, please listen to this week's Affirmation for Self-Healing by Swami Ananda. Humility. Humility is not self-deprecation. It is self-forgetfulness. It is knowing that God alone is the doer. It is the realization that nothing in the shadow world of appearances is all that important, except as it draws us closer to the Lord. Never tell yourself that you are sinful or weak or incompetent or lazy, except as such a statement may help you to surrender joyfully to God's power. Then live by that power. Never wear the mask of false humility. Humility is self-acceptance and self-honesty. You have a right to all power if you seek it in infinity, and if you never hold the thought that it resides in your little self. Please repeat after me in a loud voice, awakening the conscious mind. I live by thy power, Lord.
I live by thy power, Lord.
What I have is ever thine, ever thine.
What I have is ever thine, ever thine.
And in a conversational tone, I live by thy power, Lord.
I live by thy power, Lord.
What I have is ever thine, ever thine.
What I have is ever thine, ever thine.
And now in a whisper, bringing the affirmation into the subconscious. I live by thy power, Lord. What I have is ever thine, ever thine. And now silently, I live by thy power, Lord. What I have is ever thine, ever thine. And now with deep concentration at the spiritual eye, with rising aspiration, bringing the affirmation into superconscious awareness. I live by thy power, Lord. What I have is ever thine, ever thine. I live by thy power, Lord. What I have is ever thine, ever thine. Prayer. Thou art the doer, Lord, not I. Express thy perfection through me as I strive ever eagerly to live in thy light.
The reading is from Rays of the One Light, Weekly Commentaries on the Bible and Bhagavad Gita by Swami Ananda. How high should we aspire? Truth is one and eternal. Realize oneness with it in your deathless self within. The following commentary is based on the teachings of Paramhansa Yogananda. The passage this week is from the Gospel of St. Matthew, chapter 5. I say unto you, that except your righteousness shall exceed the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees, ye shall in no case enter into the kingdom of heaven. The easiest explanation for these words is that they were spoken in criticism of the scribes and Pharisees, particularly since Jesus was often verbally attacked by them and stood up to them fearlessly. However, it wouldn't have been much of a challenge to the disciples, who aspired to spiritual perfection, to tell them, don't be like those who lack any such aspiration. Jesus, in fact, says only a few verses later, be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father, which is in heaven, is perfect. What Jesus was referring to here then was the self-righteousness of the priests. Don't seek perfection, he was saying to his disciples, in the image you project toward others. Don't be satisfied with a goodness born merely of ego definitions. The highest virtue, is to transcend the very thought of personal virtue in the realization of God alone as the doer. Before this realization, even the thought, I am kind, or I am truthful, is self-limiting. As it says in the Bhagavad Gita, the 7th chapter, yet hard the wise Mahatma is to find that man who saith, all is Vasudev. Thus, through Holy Scripture, God has spoken to mankind.
Thank you, Melissa. And thank you, Kyle. Good morning, everybody. And especially to friends who haven't been in the last few days, welcome. My name is Aditya. I'm traveling from India. I stay in a city called Pune. It's a couple hours east of Mumbai, or Bombay, as Mumbai was called earlier. This is my second visit over here. And really, as I was sharing a little bit yesterday, Master ended his autobiography. And he said to God, he said, Lord, thou hast given this monk a large family indeed. And I'm sure all of us feel like that. It's this little interesting sprinkling of Ananda family over there. You know, once I remember I was in Ananda, Assisi in Italy, and I was leading a group of devotees from India. So I had been there before. So I was telling them a little bit about the place, certain stories. And then it just struck me. I said, I told one of the friends who was sitting next to me, I said, what we are experiencing today is Master. I said, because who was Master? Now, on one level, one time somebody told Yogananda ji, sir, you are so humble. Today we are speaking of humility. Sir, you are so humble. And Master simply, matter-of-factly said, he said, how can there be humility when there is no consciousness of ego? I mean, and humility is, Babaji said, the highest virtue. And it's like a little onion peel, you might say, that Master peeled further. And he's like, and we think of humility from the standpoint where we are, oh no, I didn't do it, or, thank you, but you're equally kind and such. And Master simply said, he was expressing, you might say, his situation. He said, how can there be humility in me when there is no consciousness of ego? That humility is flowing, but I'm not humble. I am simply not there. Like he said to Swamiji, he said, I killed Yogananda long ago. No one dwells, he said, in this temple now but God. So, and why did I share with that friend that evening? I was talking about building place, stories, and I said, what we are experiencing is Master. Because yes, Master took a form, a beautiful personality. We share his stories night and day. We enjoy it so much. Swami finished the book Conversations with Yogananda, where there were 450 stories he shared. He said he meditated on those stories for 4 decades before he understood them deeply enough himself, and he felt ready to share it with you and me. But he ends that book by saying, like the disciples of Christ, who said you could fill all the libraries in this world, and those books would still not be enough to describe our Master. And Swami said, I can say the same thing, that you could pull out yet another beautiful instance from Master's life and see. Because what was Master really? He was, as he said, now God dwells. He was God realized. He was an avatar. And what's the nature of God? Ever new bliss. That kind of joy that never repeats itself. Not only is he blissful, he's ever new bliss. Certainly, Swami used to say, as we approach the path in the beginning, we're like, oh, look around, there's so much suffering. How can there be a God? I was once doing my own calculations in that regard. And Sri Yukteswarji, Yogananda's guru, in 1895 wrote the book, The Holy Science. And he talked about how times themselves change. There are cycles of time. That's a yuga. We are right now in the ascending age of energy, Dwapar Yuga. Prior to this was ascending Kali Yuga, dark age. age of energy, Treta Yuga, and Satya Yuga. And then the cycle comes down in the reverse order. If you see, Kali Yuga is fortunately only 2,400 years. Wait till I explain how big Satya Yuga is. That's why I said it's fortunate. Now, you wish it was simply not there, but that's why we need to find God, because there's no darkness in God. What is darkness? What's Kali Yuga? It's the absence of light. The consolation is, and I'll share some stories from the life of Saint Francis of Assisi, that he was there in the Dark Ages 1,000, 1,100 years ago, but he was the light. He was in light. Today also, you and I can be in Satya Yuga. We can be in God. We just have to turn on the light. You turn on the light and you're like, where was the darkness? Which darkness of thousands of years? Swami said when they found and discovered and explored the pyramids of Egypt, 4,000 years, people had not entered that place. There was darkness in those chambers. And suddenly somebody removed a brick, shone a flashlight, and there was light. So don't think darkness does seem eternal. It seems like, my goodness, I'm never going to find my way out of it. It's nature to make us think like that. But the moment you bring light, you see darkness actually was not existing, except light was not there. The moment light comes, darkness simply has to go away. So that evening I was telling my friend, I said, we are experiencing Master. And then I said, the same experience, because they were traveling to Italy for the first time. I said, when you travel to Ananda village, other communities, I said, you will get this flavor. So I have tasted that flavor, and I thank you all for creating it, maintaining it. Swami says that's our responsibility. You know, yesterday Dhuti was speaking, and maybe she'll make an announcement later too about the pilgrimage to India. It's very important. An outer pilgrimage reminds us what life is all about. What shall we do with our lives, basically? What are we doing? At the same time, Swami said, it is very important, much more important, he says, in these times, not only to go to a place of pilgrimage, but to create places of pilgrimage. You know, Banaras is one of the places Dhuti mentioned all of you will be going. Well, Banaras is known as the city of Shiva. When you think of Shiva, you think of that worship, you should worship Shiva through a Shiva lingam, and it has many connotations, many of them misinterpreted. Kriyananda ji once said, he said in meditation, he was quite surprised, pleasantly, joyfully surprised one day to find that his own spine and brain assumed the consciousness of a Shiva linga, the thing you worship. And he says that is what it's about. If you think of other places, for example, in India, of places of pilgrimage of Shiva, they're called Jyotirlinga. Jyoti means light, linga again means that thing. And many times people think of it as the male phallus, sex organ. Swami said it has nothing to do with that. It's the spine. And what is then a Jyotirlinga? A spine that is full of light, where the chakras have opened, where somebody has finally found enlightenment. Wouldn't you and I go to a place like that? Yes, we would. We go to a place like that. We meditate over there. Because like Master said, in this attic room, about his little room in Kolkata, he says, this is where God came to me. Well, we go and sit there and we feel those vibrations. Well, right in this place, maybe right now, we can create 25 Jyotirlingas, 30 Jyotirlingas. Friends online, you could create an illumined spine right in your house, right where you are, right in a park, church, temple where you are. That is how we enhance the divine light and drive that seeming pervasive, confusing fog of darkness away. So here we are talking about how high should we aspire. As we were energizing this morning, we discussed that line from Autobiography of a Yogi. Master said in the chapter of Kriya Yoga, he said, think of an average person's body as a 50-watt bulb. By comparison, advanced practice of Kriya Yoga rouses over 1 billion watts in the same body. And Master here in Chicago, in America, he was lecturing and he suddenly held a pinch of his flesh and he says, 1 gram of flesh, your flesh, can light the city of Chicago, provide it electricity for 5 days. This was before atomic age. People were thinking, what has my flesh got to do with electricity in Chicago? He was talking of prana. He was talking of atomic energy. He was talking about, Swami would say, never say, I am tired. Never, even if you're tired, sit in the chair. Don't go and fall and say, because what we are trying to tell is, this is who I am. The body is tired. The body has an age. The body will die one day. But we are the soul which is peeping in through the organs. We are the senses, the heart's love. We are exploring, we are aspiring higher and higher. And why should we aspire? On one level, people say, oh, ignorance is bliss. This path is too much. This is too hard. Well, closing our eyes doesn't help. If you don't aspire, you really don't find lasting happiness. Not too far from here, 100 years ago, Master was lecturing, giving his first lecture in 1920 in Boston. He called it the science of religion. And Master said religion is important, spirituality is important. Without that, we wouldn't aspire. Without examples of saints, we simply wouldn't even imagine such a potential exists. You go about life and you say, well, this is how others are. This is how I am. And this is how it is supposed to be. This is how it has been. No, suddenly comes in an avatar who sleeps. Yogananda used to sleep 5 hours a month. And he said to lead by example. I said, lead by example? Like, okay, Master, if you say so. He would say things like, remember, breathing is a habit. It's not mandatory. So, well, if you say so. He would get on the stage, invite doctors, and he said, please come and check my pulses in both hands and let the thousands of people know what it is. Then there's a 72 per minute. Now, 36 per minute. Now, no pulse, no pulse, no pulse. And he would keep talking. And they said, we can't feel a pulse. And Master said, I'm not showing off. I'm letting you know. You can operate through the body, or you can come out of the body and be in soul consciousness, be expansive, be free. Now, in the beginning, the body doesn't really seem like a cage. When I was 3 years old, 2.5, 3, my father's friend traveled abroad. I don't know where, maybe, I don't know, he came to America, but he traveled. And when he came back, he brought gifts. And I got 3 very beautiful gifts, I remember. Those were 3 T-shirts. They were made of beautiful synthetic material. And they said, happy. I remember it was sky blue with deep blue on it, yellow with red on it, and another color I don't remember. Well, great shirt. I would wear them, bright colors. My friends would be happy. Wow. And, I would wear them. Now, years went by and the shirt remained the same. And my mom would tell me, give these away. Let me give them away. I said, no, I like them. That's how I give them away. No. Till one day, I went out to play in them and I came back, I couldn't take it off. And I went to my mom and I said, can you take this off? And she said, it's time to give this away. Next thing, I'm going to have to take a scissor. And that's what Divine Mother tells us, that Aditya, you were happy there. Then you were happy here. And you're trying to tell yourself, I'm happy in this stuck, tight body, T-shirt, house, world, ego, personality. And there's so much more. You can simply throw the shirt, get a new one, a bigger one, and ultimately, like Master said, go past the body. Now, let's take some examples. I think of St. Francis of Assisi. The Indian caste system. Unfortunately, like everything which was ancient, had to go through the dark ages and errors crept in. But what's the caste system? When I was a monk in the monastery in Pune, if my bed was facing this way, if I would wake up, I had written the 4 castes right in front of my bed, so that's the first thing I would see. Because the question is not what caste you were born in and stay this entire life. That's an error. what level, caste, or level of consciousness are you in now, in this moment, not even day, in this moment. So if you wake up and you're like, oh my God, I wish I could just stay in bed. Now, sometimes you need a break, yeah. But imagine 10 days have gone by, 1 year has gone by, and you're like, like Swami used to tell this story. Imagine Mahatma Gandhi wakes up one day and he tells his wife, her name was Kasturba, and he says, Kasturba, I'm tired of serving people and serving the country. I think I'm going to go out and make $1 million. Swami said, even the most materialistic person in the world would say, what happened to Gandhi ji? He has fallen. But right next to his house in a slum, a lazy boy wakes up one day and he tells his mother, Mom, I'm tired of being at home and being in bed all day. I'm going to go out and make $1 million. Perhaps the local priest would come, bless him. Everybody would give him blessings and gifts and say, go, we are all with you, go. What's the difference? Both were trying to make $1 million, but for one, it was a fall in consciousness and aspiration. For the other, it was a huge leap forward. That's the caste system, the Shudra, a Shudra consciousness, not a Shudra person. A Shudra consciousness is somebody who cannot help himself. There was this lady who came to Mount Washington to be with Master, and she brought her little son. And she was a disciple, and her son was, I think, 6 or 8 years old, and she came to Master, and like a spiritual father, she said, Sir, just train him. Train him. He's yours. And Master was Master. He was wise. He said, I'll try. And she said, no, just train him. He's yours. Mold him. Make him a saint, perhaps, is what she was saying. Master said, I'll try. And so one day, his name was, I think, John or Johnny. And Master says, Johnny, can you get me a little glass of water? And he looked at Master. He said, Sir, you're sitting there perfectly doing nothing. Why don't you get up and get it yourself? And Master said, that's right, I'll do it myself. Then another time, Master said, Johnny, can you get me to do this? Can you do this for me? He said, Sir, you're sitting there doing nothing again. Why don't you do it yourself? Master said, okay, it's fine. Then again, Master said, Johnny. And then this time the boy ran to his mother. He said, Mommy, this man is scolding me. And Master let him be. And many years later, Master went to the market and got him a toy aeroplane. And Johnny was jumping, his kundalini rising. He was so happy. Master was his best friend. And he was playing with the toy. And he grew up and became a pilot. That's wisdom. That was his dharma. Master was not judgmental. Master was not wishful in his thinking that, oh yes, one broad stroke and everybody will be a saint. Master had more soul respect for that child, more awareness of that child's, you might say, level of consciousness than the mother. Now, once the Shudra consciousness, what's next? Vaishya. That, okay, I'll get you a glass of water. I'll make you a cup of coffee, but I hope you'll give me $5 for that. Now, that's not bad. It's very good than not making coffee for yourself and others. So that's, I'll do something, what will I get in return? And there is more happiness in that actually, compared to the first state. And Master says, once you've done that for lifetimes, the results are predictable. The level of joy and pleasure is predictable. Master said in Boston in that talk, he said, you start with pleasure. It's very high, but it goes as quickly as it came. Then you learn, you say, I don't want pleasure, I want happiness. Happiness stays longer. You enjoy it naturally. But happiness also goes. People meet somebody and they know they're going to get separated. They know time will end, life will end. And then you live in memories sometimes, let's say, and you get more joy, even in the absence of the person. You think about them, it's a very joyful feeling. But joy also, Master said, will wane away. Bliss is the only octave of happiness, which in creation does not have a dual opposite, and it is ever new. And Master says, that's why we should be spiritual. That's why we should be religious. That is why we should aspire higher and higher. In Pune, One time we were doing a program and one devotee came forward. It was Master's 125th birth anniversary year. And I remember very clearly this devotee said, okay, I'd like to make a contribution. And it was a big donation, the biggest we had ever received in all these years. And I paused and asked her, I said, are you sure? She said, oh yes, this is for Master. And then I said, you're still young. I just want to be sure. Is this from your life saving? Because you're not having a job right now. She said, yeah, it's more than half of my life saving. So I said, let me think about it. And a few moments later, I accepted it, and we did this program. 4 days after the program, Swami came in my dream. He held my hands and clenched them, and he just looked, he said, thank you for doing what you just did. Now, another devotee, this was Swami's praise. We had a wonderful program. Another devotee came to me when they heard such a big donation was made. And she simply said, you should have stopped her. I said, well, what you're saying makes sense. She said, yeah, it's not practical. You should have stopped her. I said, let me think about it. And the moment I started meditating and asking Master, did I do a wrong thing in receiving that for your work? Right away, the image came of Lord Hanuman at the southernmost tip of India, where Ram had asked him to go to Lanka, Sri Lanka. And Ram is about to make a leap. And I said, this devotee wants to aspire for Master, be ambitious for him on his birthday, renounce perhaps all. Like Hanuman, she wants to take a leap. And what do? Am I supposed to say, Hanuman, you should jump, but don't jump that far. Jump there. Jump in this little puddle, not across the ocean. No. Ananda ji said, tomorrow's spiritual supermen, superwomen will be created by those who take the leap, knowing God will catch them. Remember that story of this young man traveling, walking through the Himalayas, looking for Mahavatar Babaji. Months went by and finally he met him. He saw him. He climbed from the cliffside and he saw Babaji and his disciples around a fire. Naturally, imagine somebody crawls from the cliffside. You're going to stop whatever you're doing and look at this person. And he says, sir, you must be Babaji. Babaji looked but didn't say one way or another. This man said, I want to be your disciple. And Babaji's disciples are pleased, but Babaji is still quiet. He simply says, in your present state of evolution, I cannot accept you as my disciple. And this boy says, well, if you cannot accept me, if I can't earn your discipleship, life itself has no meaning for me. I will hurl myself right now and die. And Babaji said, then jump. And he jumped. And Master writes in the autobiography, Babaji motioned to two disciples and the mangled form was brought before him. Babaji touched him and the boy came back to life. And Babaji said to him, my son, you have passed a difficult test. Death shall never touch you again. Welcome to our flock. Now, where we have our center, we have netting because birds, pigeons can sometimes come. So when we do discipleship, I tell people, I said, we are very easy on you. Who knows if Babaji was here, what would happen? And of course, from where you and I are, we think of the jump. But that boy jumped. Think of what he got in a moment, eternal life. That is the benefit of spiritual aspiration. Anyway, to quickly complete then why the caste system was brought in, you say, okay, I'm making a coffee, I'm getting some money, I do things, people praise me, they clap for me, and then you go higher and you say, I don't want your money, I don't want your applause, I don't want any attention. I simply do it for the joy of doing it. You're my family. Would I not do it? Like Swami, when he met Anand Mohima, she blessed him, gave him so many beautiful things, and he said, thank you. And she said, would you thank your own mother? And Swami said, actually, where I come from, I would. And she said, you may, but you're my son. Choto chelo, she said, you're my little child. Would I not? Why would I not bless you? Why would I not give this to you? So that is the generosity of what is called the Kshatriya consciousness. I will give. Kshatriya means a warrior. I will give, if need be, my life. Not because I've calculated whether you are deserving or not, because my joy lies in giving. My joy lies in self-offering, in that sacrifice, in that aspiration. And then Master said, once you've done that many times, which is why you can relate, he was a warrior king, and I'm sure we were with him many times. And when you've done that again and again and again, then Master says, in your soul memory, this question arises. I'm happy to die, or I'm happy to dedicate my life to something, but what am I doing this for? Where is life itself coming from? Who am I? Why am I having such aspiration? Why are others not having these aspirations? And then Master says you start entering Brahman consciousness. So you see, on a daily basis, you and I can gauge, am I lazy? Am I doing the barter system? Am I being a Kshatriya? Or am I serving God? Am I serving God in everybody? And again, as we discuss, why should we do that? Because we won't be otherwise happy. I'll close with this story of St. Francis of Assisi. We all, I think, know his life. Master called him his favorite saint. Master said, he is my patron saint, the patron saint of my work. When Yogananda ji, 1935, went to Assisi, when he went to the monastery of Lermo, if you go there today, you'll see there's a 200-meter stretch of walking between two walls. There's a main gate, then you walk, and then the monastery comes. And St. Francis and his monks would meditate in those hills. Then they made some caves, and monastery was built later. And Master stood at the gates, ready to walk over there. And Master said, Christ appeared on my right, St. Francis on my left. We held hands and walked together. And I told that story because I was standing at those gates some years ago, and I was like, and this one shopkeeper came, and he was an Italian, and he was like, oh, again, I don't know, this weekend I've been just saying, why are you wearing yellow? Why are you wearing blue? That's the kind of question, by the way, we get all the time. That time I used to wear yellow. He said, why are you wearing jalo? So they call it jalo. So I said, I'm a monk. So then he said, oh, what kind? And then he said, Hindu, Christian. I said, Hindu, but I believe in Christianity. And I said, my teacher was here. My teacher's teacher was here in 1935. And you know, I said, right here. And I said, you're so blessed. Your shop is right here. I said, right here, Christ and St. Francis appeared. And they walked together. And he put his hand on my shoulder. He said, do you believe in such things, my boy? Those things don't happen anymore. I said, they do. I said, you're selling books of St. Francis. You should know better. These things happen, brother. So anyway, we had a little satsang. And Master said that St. Francis was the son of the wealthiest merchant in Assisi. What do you do when you're young, you're so rich? Usually you're partying. He was partying. He would sing, he would dance, he would throw parties for his friends, invite more and more people. He was a nuisance to the people of Assisi. He would not let them sleep at night because he wanted to be happy that way. Well, partying. The biography says he would throw a party, but those who came to those gatherings would be looking for him. And he was often seen walking at the far end by himself. And what he would, later he said, he was asking, I used to be happy with these things. Why am I not happy? And then he said, people said, focus on work and get married. And so he's sitting at his father's shop one day, trying to make more money. That'll make him happy. And in walks this lady with her mother, and they are looking for the finest fabrics that he was showing them. And a beggar came at that time, a leper. And he asked for some money, and Francis shooed him away. And this lady looked at him with disdain. She opened her purse and went and gave this beggar money. And Francis would say that was the turning point of his life. In a moment, Perhaps he was, I don't know, egoically hurt. Perhaps his heart opened, maybe both. He opened the chest of his father's drawer and he took all the money over there and poured it in the cloak of that beggar. And from that day, he started gathering friends to go and do charity, take clothes, money, medicines. They would go to the leper colony. But again, after a while, he said, I'm not happy. And one day he excused himself from there, got a Bible in his hand and went next to the creek in a cave, and he was weeping. And he's weeping and crying and crying, and he says, Father, he's talking to Christ, why am I not happy? You know, people say I'm doing good things. People say I'm a good person. People say I've reformed, but I'm still not happy. And Christ whispered to him, Oh, Francis, oh, Francis, how could you ever be happy without me? So you see, from self-involvement to making, let's say, money in his case, to being generous, being a Kshatriya, and he actually did go to some wars. He was captured and tortured and all those things, to finally becoming a saint, thinking, having those questions. And then, of course, as he would do more and more, people would thank him. We would thank Master. Like that lady said, Master, you're so humble. Another time somebody said to Master, Sir, you're so kind. And Master said, it's God helping God. That another time, Swami was sitting at Master's feet. Master was writing the Bhagavad Gita, and Swami said, how lucky am I? I'm at the feet of my Guru. He had Samadhi decades ago. He wrote the autobiography. Now he's writing the Bhagavad Gita. He's dictating it to me. I'm at his feet. And Swami was feeling so much gratitude. And just then Master motioned to Swami to help him get up. And when they got up, Master gently pulled Swami towards him. When Swami said, they were more or less, their faces came so close. And Master simply looked at him and said, just a little bulge of the ocean. That I know how much you are loving me, but I am only a little bulge in the infinite sea of God. Go to him. Focus on him. And that, another time, Padre Pio, the great saint, he was a Franciscan monk. He saved tens of thousands of people through his prayers during World War I, World War II, and in between. And when people would thank him and say, you appeared to us, you came in my dream, you blessed me, because of you my eyesight, what not, was restored, he would say, and they would say, you performed that miracle. And he says, no, I have witnessed it. He said, I am not the one who's doing the miracle. Just like you, I'm witnessing it. God is the doer. And from where you and I are, it seems a little challenging because we kind of have to plan our day. We have to show up for meditation. We have to change our habits. But as we change bit by bit, especially around that Kshatriya Brahmin consciousness, comes the question, who is inspiring me? Where is devotion? Where is deep thinking coming from? Where is the aspiration to give? As that devotee did, half of my money come. Where is that coming from? God is pulling us now. Okay, Aditya, come up, come up, come up. You will never be happy without me. So in that high aspiration lies the discipline. It's a climb up. It's not a slide down. But in that aspiration, bit by bit, we will find more and more happiness. We become strong. We become more trusting, all these things happen. I'll close with this teaching from Masters because we may wonder, how does meditation fit into this? So there's a Hindi word called Vishwas. It translates, Master translated that word, it means faith. And faith is huge. Faith is important. I mean, for Hanuman, they say he jumped because he said, Jai Shri Ram, Lord Ram, help me. And he had that faith. Peter on the water, he's walking and suddenly he doubts and Christ holds him, oh ye of little faith. So faith is important, but you may say, I want that kind of faith. How do I generate it? Well, Master said the word is Vishwas, and Vishwas comes from two words, V shwas. Shwas means breath and vi means without. So in deep meditation, as we know, when we can even gently withdraw from breathing, perhaps we may see a light, we may feel joy. Like somebody was saying yesterday, that many times I've experienced I'm not breathing, and first I used to get afraid that, oh my goodness, why am I not breathing? And then you realize breathing is the habit. I have relaxed in God. I have relaxed in the technique. My body, mind, feelings are so at ease that I don't need to breathe right now. And in that moment, Master says, your faith is deepened, that you're not just the body, you are something much, much more. So that reminder does not easily come in the world. It does not easily come at workplace. And sometimes, frankly, it doesn't easily come through friends and family also. It comes through the masters. They are the real parents. They are the real friends. They are the real family. And when we remind each other of these things, when we encourage each other, jump. In a practical way, mind you. Be practical in your idealism, Master said. Don't be presumptuous in your faith, but try a little bit more, try a little bit more. And Swami said, so many times he would say, I can't do this. Frankly, what he did humanly, it's impossible. Divinely, it is possible. Swami said, I haven't done it. My Guru did it through me. God did it through me. I invited them. I got out of the way. So through our techniques, through energization, through Master's grace, through satsang, through our devotion, when we can bit by bit by bit, we've been at this for lifetimes. Let's accept it. And when you can finally get out of the way, you say, oh Lord, like Master and Johnny, in the beginning, you wish Master would come and right away change me, but Master is respectful of each one of us. If we don't cooperate, he'll say, absolutely fine, Aditya, I'll wait. Take your time. But we say, Master, I'm stuck in this shirt. Happiness has become unhappiness. Take it off. Give it away. Maybe it's the right shirt for somebody else, but I don't want to be wearing it. Then Master will free us. Om Guru. We'll now have our offering.
Please take what you'd like to give, place it in your right hand, and repeat after me. Divine Mother, we offer to thee the fruit of our labors.
We offer to thee the fruit of our labors.
Bless this offering,
Bless this offering,
that it serve as a channel of thy light
that it serves as a channel of thy
to truth-seeking souls everywhere.
truths, souls, and
Om. Peace. Amen.
Amen.
Light, fire. This song there. So Swami Kriyananda has written so many songs that are, he called them philosophy in song. And they basically touch on pretty much any subject.